What's good, everybody? It's your girl Shar, and I just want to thank you for tuning into Shar TV because this is absolutely where you want to be. Before we get into this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with everybody that you know. So as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about closure. Is it necessary? And definitely, I'm going to give you some steps on how to get through closure and how to heal and to find peace throughout all the madness that goes on in our everyday life. Let's get right on into it. So you guys know I'm Christian, and the Bible says to count it all joy when we fall into diverse temptations and all that good stuff. But what do we do when we're betrayed, or if someone ghosted us, or if we felt violated probably at a young age and we just can't seem to get over it? Do we cry it out? Do we hold grudges until we're 70? Do we blame other people for the reason as to why our life is not where it should be? Or do we take control of it? A lot of times when people do their dirt to us or we feel violated, we want to know why. We are humans and our brain processes stories. We want to know how it started, the middle, and definitely how it ended. But first, let me get into closure because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, so I'm going to define it for you guys. So closure is knowing the reason as to why the relationship ended in order to bring forth peace so that you can establish healthy relationships moving forward. So when you experience pain, it's one thing to feel hurt, but it's another thing to not know why. You ever felt like somebody broke up with you and you like, well, all right, we broken up, but tell me why. Like, tell me what I did wrong so I could kind of move forward and figure out what it is that I could do better in my next relationship. And sometimes we just don't get it. When you're devastated in any kind of relationship, your emotions want to know why, but your reasoning wants to piece every single thing together. Growing up in life, we watch Disney Channel, we watch Cartoon Network, and we believe that everything is supposed to have a happy ending, not only as it relates to relationships, but as it relates to family, as it relates to your friendships. You just feel like we're going to be kumbaya, I love you, you love me. I mean, Barney said it to us since we were young, so we feel like this is how life is supposed to be. So unconsciously, we set unrealistic expectations sometimes because we believe that every single person in our life is going to move accordingly, to not cross boundaries, and to really respect us as humans. But oftentimes when that does not happen, we feel overly emotional and upset. So what do we do? My first point is getting closure starts with you. Like I mentioned before, it's so easy for us to feel as if someone owes us closure and someone owes us an apology, and we gotta meet up and sit down over brunch so you could explain to me how dirty you did me. And I used to be like this. I want to know why, you know what I'm saying? But then most times people are uncomfortable even having a sit down, and so what happens then? Most times human beings say, if I know why this person did me dirty, I'll be a-okay, like I'll be fine. But what happens, one, if you don't like what they're saying during the closure? Two, if you go into the conversation with expectations of what they're gonna say and then they don't say it? And three, you don't hear what you want. So I had a sit down with someone, and I went into this conversation with great expectations, like, okay, we're going to sit down, it's going to be resolved. But it wasn't resolved. It was just it was just like this person was not taking accountability. They didn't confess for all the craziness that they did to me. And I was just sitting there like, wow, this just was not what I was expecting. But in the end, it was still my duty to move accordingly after that conversation. So oftentimes when you feel violated by someone, or you feel betrayed, or you feel neglected, and you sit down and they say the complete opposite, or even if they say like, yeah, I did you dirty, I knew it, I was in a bad place, you got to be sitting there like, what human being would really sit and confess this to me? And why would I even want closure from you in order for me to move forward? Which means that you have to take that time out in your life to say, hey, I'm gonna take the necessary steps to heal, to move forward, to find therapy, to talk to a friend about it, because it's going to be a process. All right, so I'm going to give give you about 7 or 8 tips on how to get closure, and I'm going to give you an example of each. One, you must acknowledge exactly what happened to you. A lot of people are walking around and they're angry at someone, and they know it happened, but they're not acknowledging what happened to them. And so it's like they shut down a piece of them, they shut down a part of them, and nobody has access to it because they already said, you know what, it happened, I put it in the back, I dug the grave, I put it in there, and I'm not digging it back up ever. Like, that's it. But in order for you to receive closure, you have to acknowledge what happened to you. It sounds crazy, but you kind of almost in a way have to accept it, because there's no way of turning the past. If something bad happened to you, you just have to accept that it happened. How you move forward after it happened is solely on you. Another thing you have to remember is that whoever violated you, betrayed you, who broke up with you, life still goes on for them. And oftentimes we believe that, oh my God, my heart is broken and I'm so tired and I just can't. And this person is over there feeling the same way. Like, no, this person's life is continuing just like how your life is continuing. And we oftentimes will wish bitterness on this person and wish that they would, feel what I'm feeling. Like, I'll go through the extent to fake hospital bills and tell them that I'm in distress without you and all these things. And it's like, this person's life is going to continue. They're living free while you're sitting here like worried about if they're gonna get karma or vengeance is mine, said the Lord, and he's gonna strike them down because they did you dirty. Like, no. And sometimes, because I'm telling you, people have done me dirty and they ended up being like better than me after, and I was just like, wait, God, the God that I serve is gonna fight my battles. And it's like, he ain't gonna pull through a prayer when you say, God, strike them dead because they broke my heart. Like, that's not how God works. Okay, so you have to be really reasonable and acknowledge that this person's life is gonna go on. So you have to accept it, acknowledge it, and try your best to move forward. All right, number 3 would be to forgive. Now, forgiveness is not easy. People, I'm telling you, in this life, you're going to meet some crazies, okay? You're going to meet people who are manipulative. You're going to meet some people who are narcissists. You're going to meet some people who have no regards. They're like the next thing close to psychopaths, because they just have no empathy, no emotion towards what they do to other people. And it's sad and it's disgusting, but it's life. And I'm not saying, oh, it's life, accept it, and that's it in 2 seconds. No, I'm saying it's life as in we have to now maneuver and adjust based on certain circumstances. So one of the main things, like I said, this person's life goes on, so you must forgive. Now, forgiveness is, we always hear this, it's not for the other person, it's for you. And I find that when I'm angry or upset about what someone did to me and I find myself talking bitter about them, I would just like say internally, because it's hard for me to talk it out loud, but I will say internally, like, God, just bless them and touch them and protect them wherever they go. Because if I open up my mouth to say what I really want to say, it's gonna be some bombs coming out, okay? But I just take a deep breath and I say, just God, protect them, whatever they've gone through to make them do some heinous acts like this. I pray that you will give them a peace that surpasses all human understanding. Because if you sit there and hold these things for years, and let me tell you, unforgiveness will make you look old and ugly. I'm not lying. There's people who have not forgiven people and you see how busted they look. Like, genuinely, it's taking over their whole body on the inside and on the outside. Okay, steps to forgiveness is definitely something I should do in another video, but that's just number 3. 4 is try to take control of your actions / setting some type of goals for yourself. So I would say that after someone did you dirty and they kind of messed up your whole flow and the way you were doing things, one thing that is important is to remember who you were before this. And do you still want to be that person, or are you trying to evolve into another person? Before a breakup, you were probably happy. You were probably in control of your life. You probably said no to most things. But now out after the breakup, you find yourself feeling insecure, you find yourself feeling down, and you're just like, wait, oh my God, like, this is not me. So one thing is to acknowledge, like, okay, this is not me, and I need to get out of this funk. And one thing I would suggest you do is to write it down, like, hey, this is who I was before. This is where I'm at now, and this is where I'm trying to be. And hold yourself to that list. Say, you know, I was bitter and angry on June 1st, 2021. And then on September 1st, I'm now in a better place. I'm still a little angry, but I find myself laughing a little more. I find myself dancing a little more. I find myself, you know, milli rocking a little more. Whatever it is, you know, you track your progress. And this ties in with the last point, but having individuals around you that will definitely keep you accountable. I know that it's so easy to have friends that will be like, girl, yes, like, you talking about it from now until Jesus come, like, it's no solution. Y'all just keep talking and talking about it, but this person is not telling you, like, hey, let's give this person's name a break. Let's get off this person's name and let's try for you to move forward. Like, you could sulk, but only for so long, but I'm not going to let you live in that. So it's important for you to have people, accountability partners that is able to genuinely tell you the truth. You know, it's nice to talk about it, but at what point do you stop? Which leads me to say, if you want to talk about it and you feel uncomfortable talking about it with your friends or possibly your family, it is okay to get therapy. It's okay to talk to someone outside of your friend space because of all the trauma and hurt that you've dealt with. And I know that a lot of my friends are going to therapy now, and it's not a bad thing. Some people say, oh, you know, Jesus can fix it. And yes, he can fix it, but you need to go to therapy if it's too much, or if it's like an unknown situation you feel like you're gonna harm yourself in. It's just a lot of I'm a therapy advocate, okay? So I'm gonna promote therapy, especially for our community, the Black people, Black and brown. Yes, let's do it. Let's change our generation, okay? Let's find closure and healing so we're not taking it out on Timmy, who came into the world. Timmy, yes, your son, he came into the world not knowing what was going on, and now you're beating him because you didn't deal with whatever you had going on. Okay, let's heal. Let's talk it out. My last point, out of many, but my last point is to find a goal and stick to your purpose. I know that there are situations in life that could throw us all the way off course. Like, you know, I've been depressed. I've struggled with not knowing who I was, insecurities, left, right, and center. So you could get thrown off. You kind of get like in a mode where you're just like, I'm not valuable. I'm not worthy. Nobody will date me after this, or I won't find any friends after this. Or, you know, my family is just like, they were supposed to be this type of Disney Channel Cinderella type family, but let's not forget Cinderella had two evil stepsisters. But anyway, my point is that you definitely need to stick to your purpose. So whether that be videography, writing, singing, dancing, cleaning, preaching, I don't know, whatever your purpose is in life, you know it. And if you don't know it, I should do a video about purpose. But you should definitely find a goal and stick to it. So even in the midst of you crying, in the midst of your pain, in the midst of you struggling, you're working towards something. So when you look back on your life, you're like, hey, out of this situation, it birthed something beautiful. And most times our adversities, most times our trials, our tribulations, they're going to birth the best things out of you. And so I just want to remind you of that. I know I spoke kind of fast. I know it might be a lot for you to take in, but I definitely want to let you guys know, as a person who has bettered her life, like, I was living a trash life, and the main thing that was holding me back from experiencing the goodness of Jesus, the goodness of like all the things that he has for me, was not having closure or feeling as if somebody should sit me down and talk to me and tell me all the dirty things they've done to me and why I didn't have this in life, or why I wasn't like this, or why I didn't do good good in school. All these things, like, I wanted people to tell me. But it's like, once I took control over my life and I said, hey, you know what? These people probably didn't even know better themselves, which is not an excuse, because everybody is responsible for their own life and their actions and how they treat people. It's not an excuse, but I would definitely like to let you know that I stopped looking at the wrong that they did, and I looked at what I want to be moving forward. So every action, every step, every breath that I take, every morning that I wake up, the reason why I do what I do is because I know that even though my life was going in a certain direction, I took control of it and I'm on a better path. So even throughout the bad days, I am doing better. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys find peace, therapy, love, joy, happiness. And I pray that if you were struggling with closure or struggling with, you know, someone who did you dirty, that you find an outlet and you find someone that you can really talk to so that you can find healing in every area of your life. So once again, this is Shar. I just want to thank you for tuning into Shar TV. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day.